God fucking damn, why is the Twitch update? And why didn't my notification sounds turn off either? That's great. I love that. That's so fucking funky fresh. Because this game doesn't have window options, so I gotta play in stinky mode. Stream announcement. Okay, it's fucking set the time 8:02. It's 8:02. It's 8:02. Hang on. Yeah, I've seen this in videos because I'm stinky. Before we get started, can I say something? Blah blah blah. Thank you for checking or setting the clock. Wow. People don't take the step seriously. They set the clock. We take the time to set the clock. I appreciate that. Okay. Because you're setting it correct. Tell you what, I'll make you a deal. Since you've been so cooperative, next time you boot up the game and the screen, just set your clock to your favorite time. Alright, pick whatever time you want. Even if it's not the correct time, you've earned it. Alright, get you back to the video game now. Alright, here we go. Yeah! Stanley Parable 2! Oh, it's time for bucketgaming.com.
This is the story of...
Let me skip that. Actually, let's just get the idle ending. Or not, I guess we're fine. Alright.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. Stanley lifted the bucket into his arms, and a wave of comfort rushed over him.
Ah, lovely. We can't go in the new content anymore. That's such a ripoff. What the fuck?
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left. Still no one was here. Stanley needed the bucket's warmth and comfort now more than ever. Perhaps his boss's office was where he'd find answers.
That's so true. Room Closet Ending Bucket Edition! Let's fucking go.
Oh, Stanley, can you feel it? The broom closet. It wants the bucket. You can feel that, can't you? The aura of jealousy.
Oh no!
It's as clear as day. This broom closet believes it deserves the bucket. I can really feel it now.
Oh
It's
no.
a bucket. It belongs in a broom closet. That's what the broom closet is trying to say here. It's supposed to go with the other cleaning supplies. Good for you, Stanley. Don't give in. Don't hand over the bucket. I know how hard it must be, given the pressure that the broom closet is putting on your shoulders right now, but you have to be strong. This is your bucket. This is your companion and lifelong friend. You can't hand it over.
How the fuck do I crouch? What? I swear I could crouch before. What? Crouch is left shift. Why am I not able to crouch? Am I not allowed to crouch with the bucket?
We're getting into name-calling
okay.
now, it seems. Is this how low the broom closet has sunk that it has to resort to this stream of petty insults simply in order to get you to hand over the bucket? Stanley, I never liked this broom closet for a variety of reasons, but even this is worse than I had imagined. And wait, now the broom closet has the gall to imply that you and the bucket are not truly deep and lasting friends? That your relationship is purely superficial and convenient? That your life is so banal and meaningless that you'd feel the same sort of kinship towards any inanimate object which happened to lay in your path in an even partially enticing manner? Well, I never. Go on, Stanley. Lay into it. Really tell the broom closet off for its demeaning comments. Expand on the wide variety of experiences you and the bucket have shared together. Go through each of them point by point. Share your journal entries detailing the rich emotional landscape of your feelings for the bucket as they have changed and evolved over the years. Let him have it.
Fuck you.
Okay, I've got you something which I think will help settle this debate once and for all. Here we go. There. Now, no more debate, no more discussion.
Oh my god.
Take a hike, broom closet,
So
with
true.
all your meandering philosophical diatribes about the nature of cleaning supplies and their relationship to broom closets in the natural order of things.
Oh my god, we got a bucket accessory. This is so good. This is fantastic.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office.
Do we get bucket ending? Do we get bucket elevator content ending? Yo!
Found one of them. One of the miniature Stanley figurines. Remember, no reward for collecting all of these, only the intrinsic pleasure of a job well done. You can't buy that sort of happiness, Stanley. God knows I've tried. So, I implore you to savor each and every moment you come across one of these beautiful figurines.
This game is the fucking amazing, most amazing kind of stupid. Money for breakfast, money crisp. We have a bucket now. Can we not go in here anymore? There was a fucking. One of the times I went in there, you could open that door.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Crushed by the weight of this revelation, Stanley may have broken down into an emotional dumpster fire if not for the soothing presence of the bucket. Even now, in his darkest of hours, did the bucket's warmth and guiding light pierce the dark clouds of confusion and chaos. It would be with him always. The bucket would, and he knew it. The two of them were inseparable. At this point, Stanley was so absorbed in the tender spiritual connection he shared with the bucket that he didn't notice the keypad behind the boss's desk. But Stanley guessed the correct code by sheer luck. Was it that the bucket knew all along? Was the bucket guiding him? Yes, this is certainly the most logical explanation.
Oh, this is so amazing. This is so true. What if we get bucket elevator ending? Hours and hours of elevator content in the Stanley Parable 2.
The elevator raced downward, plummeting towards an unknown fate. It would be all Stanley could do to keep himself together, if not for the bucket. Soothing him, comforting him, reassuring that in this darkest moment of uncertainty, he would be all right. The bucket is here for you, Stanley. Everything will be fine.
What if we go back up? What's it?
Wait, Stanley said to the bucket. Can we go back up? When I was pressing those keypad buttons, there was something very intriguing about the number 3. I want to go back so I can try pressing the number 3 again. The bucket said nothing.
What happens if we press 8? Because I forgot to press 8. 8. Hello. I want to see what happens if we press 8.
Here we are, said Stanley. Now I'm going to try out that number 3 button.
we'll
He
do
took
this.
the bucket over to the keypad and began absolutely slamming on the number 3 over and over. Wow, he said. The number 3 is such a special button. I'm having the time of my life. Stanley looked expectantly at the bucket, but the bucket remained
No
silent.
bucket, please!
This was a shock to Stanley, who had always felt such a connection with the bucket. How was this not as exciting to the bucket as it was to him? Once Stanley had had enough of the number 3, he got back in the elevator.
3. Ah. 8. 8. 8. 8.
8.
8! 8! 8. It said 8! Holy shit! Is there no more 8 content in this game? What a fucking ripoff.
Perhaps the bucket had missed something. Perhaps it had not seen how much joy Stanley got from slamming the number 3 repeatedly. A hint of regret nagged in the back of Stanley's mind. Should he demonstrate the number 3 for the bucket again?
Yeah.
No, said Stanley to the bucket. You can't go on yet. Not till you understand how much the number 3 means to me. You and I have been through so much together, and I just want you to see what I see. Feel the happiness I feel. He smiled at the bucket, and the bucket said nothing.
Bucket, true ending. This game is the best game ever because every ending is the bucket ending now.
Here we go, said Stanley. This time I'll really show you. He ran to the number 3 and began to wail on it like a musician on a beloved instrument, weaving a concerto of truth and passion. He wielded the number 3 like a fine artist would wield a paintbrush. He told stories through the number 3, stories of his dreams and hopes and fears.
I don't want to interrupt
the
the
whole time, he looked to his bucket for a reaction of some kind. Anything to let him know that the bucket appreciated what he was doing. The bucket conveyed absolutely nothing at all, only silence. Crushed by a wave of dejection, Stanley returned
Bucket,
to the
how
elevator.
fucking could you? Bucket, please.
Stanley and the bucket were so close. They'd always been there for one another. Why suddenly could the bucket not connect with this passion of Stanley's? The question caused Stanley to ruminate the whole way down the elevator. He knew that there must be a way to get through to the bucket, to communicate fully with his dear friend. Surely there was a solution, mustn't there be? Said Stanley. I know what to do. I know how to fully express this feeling in my heart. He decided right then and there that he would hold a press conference where he would speak to the public on all matters relating to pressing the number 3 over and over. He would elaborate fully on what the number 3 meant to him and why he felt so alive when pressing it. Then the bucket would be able to see his joy through the eyes of others. It would get to see the world react to this discovery of Stanley's. And it would be through the public eye that the bucket would finally understand Stanley's work.
Oh my god.
For months he advertised and marketed his press conference, building excitement around it, developing and rehearsing it, until it couldn't be refined a single measure further. When the big day arrived, Stanley was as prepared as he'd ever been for anything in his life.
Got the fucking Minecraft door sound, though. This Minecraft door sound never fucking gets old, guys. 3. That's so true.
This was it. One last chance to win the bucket over. One opportunity to share a true connection with a loved one.
The dude who came up with pizza.
There was no one here.
Oh
Nobody
no.
had come
What?
to the press conference to hear Stanley
No!
speak, to listen to him
No!
talk about what it really means to press the number 3 on a keypad over and over.
3.
He was unloved, uninteresting, he was a failure. And in that
No!
moment, Stanley knew that the bucket would never again take him seriously. There would be no connection, no deeper understanding. The bucket merely sat there in his arms, indifferent. And so it began that slowly, over many years,
No!
the two of them grew more and more distant. They spoke less and less, neither wishing to state the obvious, that any sense of real respect between them had eroded since that day at the press conference. There would be no more games, no more long conversations about passion and pursuit, only a silence that consumed the space between friends. And Stanley, having for once in his life discovered the warmth and comfort of true companionship, was cast back into the unremarkable normalcy of loneliness.
Oh, okay. No. Oh no. Bucket, how could you? What the fuck?
All of his co-workers
I think
were
it
gone.
glitched. What the fuck
What
is
could
that?
it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply
Oh,
missed a memo.
please.
The confusion and the chaos all seemed to melt away as Stanley embraced the bucket.
Okay, wait. Bucket confusion ending. Bucket confusion ending.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his... This was not the correct way to the meeting room, but Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be. And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? Was this better than the meeting room?
Yeah.
Yes, Stanley thought to himself. Yes, perhaps it truly was. How insightful the bucket turned out to be.
I agree. God, I love Bucket. Dear God, there's more. No.
Truly, being here with the bucket was a grand adventure. Stanley reflected on all they'd been through together. First, walking through the door on the right, then walking to the lounge, then arriving at the lounge. What a thrilling journey the bucket had inspired. Perhaps this was where the bucket felt most truly at home, here in the employee lounge. Perhaps it's the only place a bucket can even feel at home.
Seems physically improbable, honestly, that I'm standing on this plant. But you know what? Yeah, it's a fake office plant. You know, it's made of very sturdy plastic.
Stanley decided to just give the bucket absolutely as much time as it needed to be in the lounge. Clearly, the bucket and the employee lounge shared a special connection. But finally, the bucket was done being in the lounge, and they took the first open door on their left to get back to business.
Alright, you know what, yeah.
And so the two of them detoured through the maintenance section and walked straight ahead to the opposite door.
I mean... Did we though? Nah, no we didn't. Coming with me, Bucket. We're gonna find the line! We're gonna get...
Oh, good, Stanley. I'm glad you found your way here.
Oh.
I knew you'd find this place
Yo!
eventually.
Yo!
You see, your friends and I are concerned for you, Stanley. We've come together here because we care about you very much. It's this bucket you're carrying around everywhere. The bucket isn't even from the original Stanley Parable. It's just sequel content. We're the ones that matter, Stanley. Classic characters from the first game, like the Adventure Line and the Broom Closet. Because that's what fans want from a sequel. They want more of their favorite jokes, not this bucket that they've never seen before.
I want the bucket.
Yes, I know I'm the one who gave you the bucket, but you're spending too much time with it. Don't you want another story involving the Adventure Line? We could make the Adventure Line go somewhere new. Yes, yes, that's what the fans want. Let's do it.
Oh! Oh, Adventure Line. I love the Adventure Line. I love the bucket.
Look at that wacky line. Who knows where it'll go off to next? Oh, and it played some silly music as well.
Yeah! Oh my god, the trademarks. Yo, the fern better return.
Now this is what the Stanley Parable is all about.
No, put it back.
Don't you remember all those great jokes from the original dialogue? Also, Stanley is addicted to drugs and hookers. Yes, it's as classic now as it was back then. Let's do it for the fans, Stanley. Let's give them more content exactly like this. But if we want to do that, you're going to have to give something up.
Oh no. No! No! No, don't you fucking dare. Don't you dare take my bucket from me.
Don't you get it, Stanley? We need to get rid of the bucket. That's why I'm very proud to introduce a brand new character. This is the Bucket Destroyer. I think it'll make a wonderful new addition to the rich lore of the Stanley Parable. True, it also was not in the original game, but it's such a well-fleshed-out character with so much personality that to me, it already feels as though it's been part of the cast all along. Don't you agree?
I fucking...
Can you guess what the Bucket Destroyer does? Surely you don't need me to spell it out for you. Go ahead now, Stanley. Say goodbye to the bucket, and then pop it into the machine when you're ready.
No, I fucking refuse.
Now listen to me. It's crucial that you give it the bucket. I don't know what the Bucket Destroyer will do if it can't destroy your bucket. Destroying buckets is all it knows. That is its singular personality trait. Sure, I can hear you saying, how does a character with only one personality trait deserve to join the pantheon of beloved Stanley Parable characters? Well, you see, if you were to really explore the Bucket Destroyer, you would see that its desire to crush buckets is so densely loaded with complexity and nuance that it's really like 10 personality traits. What other object in this game can you even say that about? The Broom Closet? Certainly not. I wonder what sort of Bucket Destroyer merchandise the fans will be clamoring for after this. Okay, the Bucket Destroyer is getting very upset.
I refuse! I refuse!
We can't get back to the classic Stanley Parable characters like the Adventure Line or the Bucket Destroyer until you crush that damn bucket. Quickly now!
No.
The fans are waiting. Do it, the fans, Stanley. Give
No.
the fans what they want. Hurry and...
Oh! Oh my god.
Bucket Destroyer, my prized creation. You had so much potential. We were going to do such marvelous things with you, tell such spellbinding stories about you, all of it squandered now. Goodbye, new friend. For the moment in time that you were here, you were magnificent.
The Bucket Destroyer fucking exploded. Okay. Well, that was...
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Ooh, meeting today. Figure finders?
Warmth spread through Stanley's arms. With the bucket in his arms again, he was home.
Let me up. Let me up. Let me up there. I need to awaiting input. It's awaiting input. Oh, okay, there we go. Lovely. We need to awaiting input.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left.
Figure finders in the meeting room. How can we find them? Bottom text! Yo, bottom text! Small floating objects have appeared around the office. We have the synergizer resources. I'm sure they're retrieval. There are many questions. There is no memo from management. How can you tell you spotted one? It's in the air. Who took these pictures of them? Okay, so that's the... There's one there. These are hard to find. Red room. Wait. Thank you. Good luck. Red room. I'm actually taking a fucking screenshot of that. Maybe we are the collectibles. Shut the fuck up. I managed to pick sounds unusual to regular office ambience or local audio sources using an array of fuck is that? Cardioid microphones, also known as directional microphone, picks up sound from a particular area. Analysis of the recordings allowed me to triangulate the source of the strange noise. Data shows that no likelihood it's coming from a dark area behind a very warm place. Vibrations off porcelain surface. Would you like to know? Clues. Clues? There's clues? Holy shit. So one's behind a warm... Here. Weird spinning figurines. What do they want? Look for 27. Magnets. Why floating magnets? Strange size. Can we sell them? Obviously. So what in cargo room? Ooh. I'm building a bridge. So I want in cargo. I'm taking screenshots just to organize our thoughts here. Why wouldn't they just tell us something like this will happen? Investigation. This room is pointless to me. We need more plans. Ooh. Okay, so secrets. So we got two out of. So there's one by the red and blue doors. That's only at the confusion. No bucket. Okay, yeah, no bucket. Warehouse access plan. Use one plank to allow use access past fence. Strict bridge to allow collection of shiny floats. retrieve Chris's remains from warehouse floor. Constructing into a structurally sound prison. There will be a reward for finding them all. Lies. Who are you? 6 law. Will the cleaning of this wall require to go home? Stop kidding yourselves. Fire these things for me. Gotta collect them all. Status inside of a sequel exhibit. Ooh. Wait. Stairs. Something to do with stairs. Nearby a fireplace. Large room. Lots of. Okay. So some kind of game. There must be a point to this. Man. Smelly place for an important person. Okay. It's scavenger hunt. Scavenger hunt. Okay, so... Alright. Where are they? Do not leave the office before reporting. Like any new findings. Teamwork and cooperation. Okay.
All right, I've got a second sticker back here, and I'm going to slap it on as well because I think it's appropriate.
Yeah! Yeah!
I feel that it works because the sticker is also a bucket. That way, if you're ever unsure whether the thing you're holding is a bucket or not, you can look down at this sticker and say to yourself, ah, it's a bucket. There really is a wide variety of applications for this sticker.
So true. It's so true.
You know what? I could take the name-calling and the dismissal of your kinship with the bucket, but now the broom closet is just giving us the silent treatment. And to be honest, I'm sick of the pettiness on display. You can stay here all you like, but I've had it with this impetulant room of cleaning supplies. Easily the most childish such room I've ever been in. I'll see you outside, and we can get on with the story about you and your bucket. Coming to a staircase, Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office.
What happens if we die in bucket? I want to die in bucket. Yo, somewhere red.
Another miniature Stanley figurine. This, you know, there really must be a snappier name for these things. What about mini-stands? Stanley figs? What about Stanlerines? Yes, I think I like that. Another Stanlerine under your belt.
Figly.
But Stanley just couldn't do it. He considered the possibility of facing his boss, admitting he had left his post during work hours. He might be fired for that. And in such a competitive economy, why had he taken that risk?
Okay, but... Because in this one, he has like a mental breakdown, but we have the reassurance bucket to cancel that out. So what's the... When the plot thickens...
Because he believed everyone had vanished, his boss would think he was crazy. And then... something occurred to Stanley. Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy.
No, we have a bucket, so...
He looked down at the bucket in his arms. Am I crazy? He asked the bucket. The bucket returned his gaze, but said nothing at all. That's strange, Stanley thought. Usually the bucket is a source of guidance and wisdom for me in difficult times such as these. He held the bucket close, yet felt none of its familiar reassurance and comfort.
Oh no!
And that's when Stanley realized, this isn't my bucket. It's just a normal, everyday bucket. Someone
Oh,
else's
no!
bucket, perhaps. How did I end up with someone else's
But it's
bucket?
property of
This
Stanley!
is all terribly wrong. Surely no good would come from this. Who knows what sorts of bizarre hallucinations Stanley might experience without the psychologically grounding presence of his
Oh
bucket.
no, we dropped the bucket!
Indeed.
Oh no.
Now he noticed that the rooms were repeating, which was, of course,
Oh
very
no.
Now he felt himself floating off the ground. Oh, gracious, he exclaimed. Without my bucket, I've gone truly mad. Where is it? I must find it. Far off in the distance now, he heard it, calling to him.
Bucket.
Stanley! Stanley, it's me! The bucket! Could it truly be?
Oh my
He
God.
rushed forward from room to room,
There's
passing
buckets.
by one bucket after the
There's
next.
buckets
None of them were his. None of them were his special bucket.
Come to me, Stanley. Find
It's
me.
a bucket.
He had to find the bucket. He had to return to his old friend. It was the only way to truly restore his sanity. And then suddenly, he froze dead in his tracks. He knew where the voice of the bucket had been coming from. The real bucket was inside of him all along. It was incredibly painful. Stanley doubled over in agony and blacked out.
Oh no.
This is the story of a woman named Mariella.
The real bucket was inside of my lungs.
Mariella woke up on a day like any other. She arose, got dressed, picked up her bucket of comfort and security, and walked to her place of work. But on this particular day, her walk was interrupted by the body of a man who had stumbled through town, talking and screaming to himself, and then collapsed dead on the sidewalk. Right away, she knew what the problem was. This man had no bucket. Of course he'd gone mad, ranting and raving about a narrator describing all of his actions and how everything is predetermined and free will is an illusion and it's all just a video game. It could all have been prevented if only he'd taken his bucket with him. Perhaps he didn't even realize he'd forgotten his bucket at home in the first place. How cruel the world can be, Mariella thought, and she hugged her own bucket even tighter. But of course, she had no time for this. There were a myriad of confusing problems she would soon have to confront at work, for which her bucket would provide absolute guidance and total clarity on everything. Heck yes, she thought to herself, my life kicks ass, and she bucked it all the way to work.
I'm fucking dying.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
No bucket. I'm sorry, bucket. We have to go insane today.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, this was not the correct way to the meeting room,
Yeah,
and
we're gonna
Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
Back at it at Krispy Kreme.
Wow. Yes. This room. What a beautiful room.
It's the
What a
bucket's
gorgeous,
favorite room.
Gorgeous room.
So it's my favorite room.
Thank
I love the
goodness
bucket.
Stanley had taken this detour on his way to the meet. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his
Collectible
left.
by the red and blue doors.
And so he detoured through the maintenance section, walked straight ahead to the opposite door, and got back on track.
No, I didn't. I want the collectible. I want the figly.
But Stanley didn't want to go back to the office. He wanted to wander about and get even further off track. So now in order to get back, he needed to go,
Oh my god.
From here, it's, left.
I will fucking lay head
Oh,
from
no.
laughing that
No,
hard.
it's to the right, my mistake. No,
That was
no,
honest.
not the right. Why would I have ever said it was to the right? What was I thinking?
Turned himself into
It's
a bucket.
clearly...
Funniest shit I've ever
Oh
seen.
dear, would you hold on for a minute, please?
I know, you get some water actually.
Now, let's see. We went down right, left, down, left, right. Yep, okay, yes. I've got it now. This story is absolutely, definitely this way.
Okay, I'm back. Also, I just realized this isn't even the right fucking ending. This I got the mixed up. I got schmixed up.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
My first playthrough, I also got that mix up. I was going for the confusion ending, and I actually went
When
for the
Stanley came
red,
to a set of 2 open doors, this
like
was
the blue
not the
door
correct
ending.
way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. The lounge was sublime, a work of art. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
Do not lie. If you're lying right now, stop.
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
Oh, yo. Wait, is there a body down there? Build more structurally secure bridge. Oh!
But in his eagerness to prove that he is in control of the story and no one gets to tell him what to do,
I fell.
Stanley leapt from the platform and plunged to his death.
No, I just
Good
fell
job,
off.
Stanley. Everyone thinks you are very powerful.
Everyone thinks I am very powerful. Haha, I have a very powerful.
All of his co-workers were gone. What
Oh,
could it
boy.
mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Variants. God, I love
When Stanley
variants.
came to a set of 2 open doors,
No, I
this
didn't.
was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well.
Me
Perhaps
being
he
bad
wanted
at
to stop by
platforming.
the employee lounge first, just to
First
admire
person
it.
platforming sucks, so it's like, don't worry about it.
Standing now in this
I'm good
incredible
at
room,
platforming.
Stanley for the first time understood true happiness. Then the feeling went away, and he felt sad again. Then it came back, and lingered for a minute or two. Now it's only half there. Just a kind of, tingle.
Yeah. I agree.
But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left. Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
Alright, let's do this, but not poorly. I was too busy. I was too busy looking for the body. The other guy.
Okay, I'm going back to the name of these little Stanley figurines, and now I'm torn between Stanlerines and Figlies. What do you think, Stanley? What name better encapsulates the intrinsic sense of happiness that you
Figly.
get from seeing a small number in the corner of your screen go up by 1? Let me sit on it. I'm sure it will come to me.
So true. I agree. Alright, ding, 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 ding. Oh. What? Green?
Stanley had now gotten himself so far off the beaten path that it seemed the office had begun. So far off the beaten path that it seemed the office had begun. So far off the beaten path that it seemed the office had begun. So far off the beaten path that it seemed the office had begun. So far off the beaten path that it
I
seemed
don't
the
like-
office had begun. So far off.
I don't like this.
That it seemed the office had begun. So far off the beaten path that it seemed the office had begun.
What? What the fuck?
You didn't think I was actually just a recording, did you? What a silly and trite explanation that would be. All the back and forth between you and me, all the absurd adventures we've been through, and it all turns out I'm just a tape recording? It was all just in Stanley's head. I bet that's the kind of twist you think is revelatory. I bet each and every time you watch a movie where it turns out all to be in the main character's imagination, you must absolutely bolt off the couch in pure shock at the phenomenal and intricate storytelling. It must be so simple to be you. Life being an unending waterfall of surprises and delights. How much more exciting you must find the world than the rest of us do. Now I've become sad. Look what you've done to me. This is all your fault.
Well, I can conclude that the office has begun.
Stanley decided to go to the meeting room to check on his co-workers. He never functioned well by himself and constantly needed support and guidance from others, so the thought of total solitude was terrifying to him.
Input received.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open... This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. Stanley felt lightheaded, butterflies in his stomach, giddy in a way he had never known before.
The fact that they, like, added new endings and then added second versions of all of those endings for the bucket.
Oh. Was it this room? A connection between the two? Could a man love a room? I mean, truly, truly, deeply, madly love. Yes, really, really worth it being here in the room. A room so utterly captivating that even though all your co-workers have mysteriously vanished, here you sit looking at these chairs and some paintings.
I'm trying to get on the
really
table.
Worth it.
I'm trying to get on the table. You gotta pay attention.
At this point, Stanley's obsession with this room bordered on creepy and reflected poor. But at last, he'd had enough of the amazing room and took the first open door on his
I
left
tried to press jump
get
like
back
I
to
can
business.
jump in this game. I can't. This is not the jump circle.
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago. Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but... What? Really? I was in the middle of something. Do you have zero consideration for others? Are you that convinced that I want something bad to happen to you? Why,
And then,
I don't know how to convince you of this, but I really do want to help you, to show you something beautiful. Look, let me prove it. Let me prove that I'm on your side. Give me a chance. You're getting close now, Stanley. You've nearly gotten all of the Figler Anlarines. Very soon, you'll collect the last one, and then the first number will equal the second number, and that will be it. We'll be different people by then. Different in the sense that we used to have none of them, and now we have them all. You can't go back to when you had no Figler Anlarines. None of us can.
Damn.
Now listen carefully, this is important.
Fireplace.
Stanley walked through the red door.
Oh, this is the... Oh, no. Oh, no.
Oh, thank God you are willing to listen to me. Do you see that I really have wanted you to be happy all this time? The problem is all these choices. The two of us always trying to get somewhere that isn't here. Running and running and running, just the way you're doing right now. Don't you see that it's killing us, Stanley? I wanted to stop. We would both be so much happier if we just stopped. And I think, I think I have a solution. Here, let me show you.
This is like one of the fucking... Truly one of the endings of all time.
What do we want? What are we looking for? Here. Yes. Oh, it's beautiful, isn't it? If we just stay right here, right in this moment with this place, Stanley, I think I feel happy. I actually feel happy.
God, this... I kind of don't want to do this ending, because it's like one of the fucking most sad endings, actually. Like, actually one of the fucking worst endings.
No, wait. Where are you going? Oh, no. Stay away from those stairs. If you hurt yourself, if you die, the game will reset. We'll lose all of this.
I'm just gonna not get this ending, because it's really fucking sad. Oh, look at the colors.
Good, good. We can't be too safe. Promise me you won't go back there. Just stay here.
It's a very pretty room, though. Yeah, but, yeah, I would rather not. I'm just gonna, yeah. You know, it's just, yeah.
Even now, Stanley's office was a distant memory. What did it look like? There was a computer, perhaps, and a painting. Was it a painting or a photo? He could no longer recall. Stanley picked up the bucket and smiled. He'd never be alone again, not truly alone, not with the bucket around. Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest. This was not the correct way to the meeting room.
Let's go to the...
But Stanley had felt the bucket
no
calling
buckets.
to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be. And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? No, never mind. The bucket was wrong.
Fuck you. The bucket
Stanley
is correct.
took the door on his left to go back to the meeting room.
No, the bucket is absolutely correct.
No,
Said the bucket.
don't go to the meeting room. Go somewhere else. The cargo lift, yes. Good.
Said the bucket.
Now ride the lift all the way to the top. There's something up there I need you to do.
Stanley did not question why or how this bucket was speaking to him. It should have alarmed him, of course, because buckets can't talk. But Stanley chose not to think about this obvious fact. He was firmly convinced that the bucket had spoken to him, and he unthinkingly did whatever the bucket asked.
Danger. Danger everywhere. What? I heard a noise. What? I heard a noise. I heard what was that? Alright.
No, stop. Look there on the wall. You see, there's a sign right there. It says, no buckets past this point. Stanley, how could you think it was okay to bring the bucket here? Unless, what if the problem is that you actually don't know what is a bucket and what isn't a bucket? I suppose that would explain a lot about your behavior up to this point. Which, if that's true, well, my goodness, I think we have to do something about it. This misunderstanding could have dire consequences on the entire rest of the game if not addressed quickly and properly. So much of the impact of the story is dependent on your understanding of what is and isn't a bucket. Please, step in here for a moment.
Ooh. I mean, we have this bucket sticker, so this is a little, you know, it's a little out of order, but...
Now then, I'm going to run you through some test scenarios, and you'll tell me whether or not the thing I'm showing you is a bucket. Simple enough, right? This should tell us everything we'll ever need to know about what is or is not a bucket. Okay, let's begin. Item 1. Is this a bucket?
No.
Correct. It is a hologram of a bucket, not an actual bucket. Item 2. Is this a bucket? Correct. It is a 3D printed recreation of a bucket, not an actual bucket.
Oh my fucking god. Oh my fucking god.
Item 3. Is this a bucket? Incorrect. This is a bucket. Item 4. Is this a bucket?
Oh my god, the music.
Are you hallucinating? This is a tractor. It's an enormous machine that tills the earth. I thought this was a gimmick. How on earth did you manage to screw it up? Absolutely incredible. Let's just move on to the next one. Is this a bucket?
Yeah.
Correct. This is.
casings. Is this a bucket?
Yeah, sure.
Trick question. Both. Gotcha.
What the fuck?
Item... Wait, hold on. I can't find the next one. Let me see. It should be around here somewhere. Okay, you and I both know there isn't anything here. And I don't appreciate the implication that nothing is a bucket when we both clearly know that a bucket is something, and therefore nothing could possibly be something. Unless, in your twisted mind, have you somehow convinced yourself that a bucket is nothing? Answer me straight, Stanley. Do you believe that nothing is a bucket?
Yeah.
You know what? I'm too confused to even sort it out. I've lost all sense of perspective. What is a bucket? What isn't a bucket? Mere moments ago I could answer these questions with confidence. And yet now I'm somewhat adrift. Do any of us know what a bucket is? Am I a bucket?
Yeah.
Stanley, I can't keep doing this. I'm losing myself, and myself was all I ever had to begin with. I'm afraid the bucket is threatening to tear our relationship apart. I can't have that. I'm sorry. But I'm going to erase all buckets from the game entirely.
No!
Okay.
No! 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 No!
What happened? Is everything gone?
Everything's a
How did
bucket!
everything disappear? Wait, was everything a bucket? Every single thing in the game was a bucket. Oh my God, I had no idea. Except me. I'm not a bucket after all. And you, Stanley, you're still here. You're not a bucket either. Oh, this is wonderful news. We're not buckets. Yes, I actually feel much more at ease right now. It's delightful to get some clarity on that issue, but it doesn't change the fact that we haven't got a game. So, tell you what, I'll reset everything and we'll put back all of the buckets, okay? And we'll know that it's all a bucket. But if you run into anyone else, maybe don't mention that. Who knows what that information might do to a person? All right, here we go.
Oh my fucking God. Now we know that you said there was many uses for the
All of
bucket
his co-workers
sticker.
were gone. What
Is
could it
correct the
mean?
whole time.
Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a
I don't
trace
like
of his
that.
co-workers.
I don't like that. I don't like the computer saying it. You're fine. Is meeting today. Oh my God. Yeah, I do not like that. That's like weirdly creepy.
The good old bucket. Just Stanley and the bucket. Off on another thrilling adventure together.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left.
Alright, so nearby a fireplace. Where is a fireplace? I actually do not know where I think there's a fireplace by the in like the memory zone, but that's it.
Stanley, we must move on from this broom closet, simply because I have no remaining stickers. If I did, you can guarantee we'd be in here for hours. But alas, no stickers.
I mean, I will. Come on, are you sure? You're holding out on me. You're holding out on me. Come on. God, this game is so fucking funny though. This game is so fucking good. Honestly, I was thinking like there's like those negative reviews, and it's like they say like, oh, the narrator's annoying, and it's like, sure, there's like comedy is
Coming to a
subjective.
staircase,
Like
Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office.
comedy is subjective, but Like, if there was an argument for anything to be objectively really fucking funny, then I mean, this is a contender. Input. Yeah, okay. I told you with this door opened. I told you this door opened. Oh no. Damn, that isn't very nice. Elevator content. Hours of elevator content.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication.
The bucket did not react, except perhaps a tiny glow of warmth. Subtle, yes, but an unmistakable spark from somewhere deep within.
But Stanley guessed the correct code by sheer luck. Was it that the bucket knew all along? Was the bucket guiding him? Yes, this is certainly the most logical explanation.
Oh wait, I should have kept pressing 3. I just... well. We need to get the true 3 ending.
Stanley and the bucket walked straight ahead through the large door that read, Mind Control Facility. Although this passageway had the word escape written on it, the truth was that at the end of this hall, Stanley and the bucket would both meet a violent death. The door behind them was not shut. Stanley and the bucket still had every opportunity to turn around and get back on track. At this point, Stanley and the bucket were knowingly walking forward into a very painful death for each of them.
Honest, cause that's like the gallery ending, and that might have like stuff from the new ending. So I kind of want to get all the bucket endings before. I love that it's a normal sentence, getting all the bucket endings.
But of course, Stanley and the bucket thought better of it and realized they simply had too much to live for. The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible...
One sec. This is on right now. Oh. Okay.
What secret did this place hold? Stanley and the bucket both wondered to themselves.
Oh, there's nothing on the screen? Wait. Bottom of the whole bucket ending.
But just as Stanley was about to proceed further into the mind control facility, he tripped and fell over the railing and into the dark void below. Thankfully, he fell directly onto the bucket, which safely cushioned his fall. Now, what to do next? Stanley wondered. Stanley and the bucket could find no way out of this enormous pit, and so eventually they decided that the best thing to do would be to simply get comfortable down here.
so they set up a little couch and relaxed. It really wasn't so bad down here, a bit cold perhaps. After some time had gone by, they installed a few shelves as well, and a sort of kitchenette that was useful for when the bucket was craving paninis. But it wasn't until the rugs and the standing lamps came in that it really started to feel
Oh,
at home.
lovely.
In fact, after some time, Stanley realized that it had been ages since he had even thought of the mind control facility at all. He'd never gotten to fully explore what was up there, never been able to unearth the many mysteries of the mind control facility. This lack of closure began to eat at him. Soon he was dwelling on his regrets, and the state of their
I don't
home
like this
slowly
music.
decayed as Stanley became withdrawn and neglected the cleaning. It unsettled the bucket deeply. Stanley wasn't usually like this.
Oh no.
The bucket tried to reach out to him again and again.
Oh
to no
no.
avail.
Wyatt.
All Stanley could think about, all he could talk about, was going back, doing it over again, staying on the path. It was a
Not a
mistake
bad
to
idea.
leave the
That-
path.
oh, okay.
It was a mistake. It was a mistake. I need to do what the narrator says. I need to see the true ending. This made no sense at all to the bucket, which was simply trying to live its life down here as comfortably as possible. Yet Stanley was unconsolable.
Oh no.
This isn't an ending. This is just a hole in the ground. The bucket sighed. True, it wasn't an ending. But it's where we happen to be. And maybe, possibly, if we accept the reality of things, maybe this will become an ending eventually. It's what the bucket was counting on. The two of them waited for a very long time.
Oh, okay.
How wonderful. Stanley was alone. Finally. This is great, he thought to himself. This is what I've wanted all along. I got what I wanted. No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers.
And this door closes, right? Or does this door not close? Oh, these doors don't close.
Where are we going today? The bucket asked. Stanley just smiled. Anywhere they went together would be perfectly fine with him.
Alright, let's get on the desk. Let's get on the desk. Let's get out of bounds ending. Bucket edition. My eyes, ow.
Yes, whispered the bucket into Stanley's ear. We've done it. We've escaped from that dull office and that pesky narrator. At last, out here in the white void, we are alone. Now, and for the first time, I can reveal to you
Oh
my
no!
true self.
What?
The bucket began to tell Stanley of its life and its history, of the countless wars it witnessed, desecrating the land and lives of untold numbers of innocent humans, and the bucket's own complicity therein, of sadness and regret, and the many years it spent dwelling on the actions it might have taken to curb the madness and the decay, if only it had been stronger, of hope and redemption, and its crusade to uplift the stock of life for the common man, to manifest justice where none existed, and the bittersweet reality of time, to see one's dreams and wishes met halfway, meted out in parcels like charity, and abandoned as soon as the warm glow of inspiration begins to dim. The opportunities to do so much more. There was so much it could have done, perhaps, the bucket wondered to itself. Perhaps, if it had seen its own darkness with a clearer perception. This was way too much for Stanley.
What are you talking about?
He screamed.
You're a bucket!
To this, the bucket furrowed its brow. No, said the bucket. Not since the evil wizard Gambhorata first ensnared me in his machinations as payback for the sacred amulet I stole from his treasured vaults. I was young back then and could not conceive the ramifications of...
No!
Stanley screamed even louder this time.
This is stupid! You are
No,
a
he's so
bucket.
mean.
This is so stupid! Why are we even doing this?
As Stanley
Score.
screamed and screamed and screamed, the bucket revealed its true form, transforming into a mighty beast of untold power, its fangs glistening like...
What?
My God!
No!
Stanley, you did it!
No!
You
saved us from the bucket. Thank God you already had all 12 emblems of sages and knew the incantations to summon their true power. Otherwise, we would have easily been overwhelmed by the bucket's power. I'm speechless. You've demonstrated such bravery here today. Come, let's restart the game, and we'll agree to never again go trifling with this bucket, nor the dark magic cast away
Oh,
inside
this is
of it.
terrible. This is a terrible ending. I fucking hate this ending. Oh. Awaiting input. You know, let's just...
A good bucket, a strong bucket, a humble bucket, a committed bucket, a bucket of culture and distinction.
So true. Can I put the bucket back? No, I can't.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left.
Terrible ending. Terrible, stinky ending. Nearby a fireplace. Where is a fireplace? No, we didn't have a fireplace.
Coming to a staircase,
Cozy zone
Stanley and the
down
bucket
the
walked
hole.
upstairs to the boss's office.
I was thinking, like, that seems somewhere where a fireplace would... I'm trying to think of places where a fireplace would be. And that's not one of them.
Stepping into his manager's office,
True-
Stanley was
true
once again stunned
three
to
ending.
discover not an indication of any human. The bucket did not react, except perhaps a tiny glow of warmth. Subtle, yes, but an unmistakable spark from somewhere deep within.
Alright, we get nothing. We get nothing.
But Stanley guessed the correct code by sheer luck. Was it that the bucket knew all along? Was the bucket
that's a-
guiding him? Yes, this is certainly
That's a...
the most
wait,
logical
that's a
explanation.
fireplace. That's a fireplace. What the fuck? Alright. Wait. I'm gonna check my fucking clues. That I just now realized that's a fucking fireplace. Ah. You gonna let me? Is it not gonna fucking let me click on anything else? Alright, okay. Nearby a fireplace. Nearby a fireplace. Oh, wait. It's like to the right of the fire. Wait, is that to the right of the fireplace? Like, over here? Something? A cranny, perhaps? No. Alright. Bucket. Bucket 100%. Cause you just walk, you're so conditioned to just walk past that I never, like, realized. Alright.
Stanley and the bucket walked straight ahead through the large door that read, Mind Control Facility.
But the lights turn on, but not the, or no, the screen's to the second button.
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley and the bucket both wondered to themselves. The monitors jumped to life, and Stanley nearly dropped the bucket in shock. Everyone in the office was being videotaped, monitored like guinea pigs. The bucket had never seen anything like this, and it very nearly burst into tears as Stanley cradled it gently, reassuring it that everything would be fine.
Can you fall down here?
Was the bucket under the mind control facility's influence as well? Had the bucket been told to do things it didn't wish to do? What kinds of things does a bucket want to do or not want to do in the first place? These questions raced furiously in Stanley's feeble mind.
This one? Bucket, get. Like this one? Are you sure? Is this the right spot? Because nothing's happening. Yeah, nothing's fucking happening.
No! He screamed into the bucket. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control. Never! He squeezed the bucket tighter. His one friend in the entire world. At this point, he could trust no one except for the bucket. But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions, happy or sad or content. Walking, eating, working, all of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. For he and the bucket would dismantle the controls for good. Two best friends, Stanley and the bucket, up against the world. They high-fived in a really cool way, and the bucket made a sassy comment about taking down the system.
A little, the face, it looks like a face, wow.
When at last they came to the source of the room's power, Stanley and the bucket knew it was their obligation to put an end to this horrible place and to everything it stood for.
Fine, bucket ending. Bucket ending.
Stanley and the bucket waited in blackness.
Okay, what third button?
Over?
What are you... Are you like the keypad?
Yes, they had done it. Stanley and the bucket had defeated their greatest and darkest enemy, freed themselves from the tyrannical grip of the evil mind control machine. Freedom was now mere moments away. Excitedly, the two of them began to discuss the kind of life they wanted to live once they stepped through this massive door. The bucket wanted to learn to roller skate. Stanley wanted to sneeze in every country on Earth. Both of them wanted to begin watching a movie, any movie, but then stop it halfway through and begin watching it in reverse from the end. True, it was a simple life they envisioned, but it was one they'd lived together, with one another to lean on, to trust, to support.
What?
What? Wait, what was happening? Why had
no.
the door
What?
stopped?
Why is
Was Stanley and the bucket not about to be freed?
Why is every bucket with the but
room.
why is
Lingering.
every ending with the bucket a bad ending? What the fuck? I hate it.
An uncertainty. Until finally the truth hit Stanley square in the face. This building did not want the bucket to leave. Even the facility itself recognized the incredible calming presence of the bucket.
Oh no!
Needed the soothing warmth of the bucket. Would go to any lengths not to part with the bucket.
No!
Stanley can't leave this place. Not while he has such a precious bucket in his arms. Not while this building has anything to say about it.
No! What the
Stanley
fuck?
realized he would never again leave this very room. But at least At least he has the bucket. To be trapped eternally in darkness isn't really so bad, Stanley thought to himself. As long as I have my bucket with me, right? I'll be okay, won't I? Stanley gulped. Very soon now, he was about to find out.
Also awaiting input.
I can't wait to tell this story to my co-workers, Stanley thought. How amusing they'll find it. Oh, won't we all just laugh and laugh at the time I thought everyone had gone missing. Ah, the embrace of an old friend. A weathered companionship that stands the test of time. Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left.
Figly.
Stanley, we must move on from this broom closet, simply because I have no remaining stickers. If I did...
Coming to a staircase, Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office. Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. But Stanley guessed the correct code by sheer luck. Was it that the bucket knew all along? Was the bucket guiding him?
I fucking forgot to check the
Yes,
fireplace
this is
again.
certainly the most logical explanation.
Literally just on rails. God damn it.
Stanley and the bucket walked straight ahead through the large door that read, Mind Control Facility. The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley and the bucket both wondered to themselves. The monitors jumped to life, and Stanley nearly dropped the bucket in shock. Everyone in the office was being videotaped, monitored like guinea pigs. The bucket had never seen anything like this, and it very nearly burst into tears as Stanley cradled it gently, reassuring it that everything would be fine. Was the bucket under the mind control facility's influence as well? Had the bucket been told to do things it didn't wish to do? What kinds of things does a bucket want to do or not want to do in the first place? These questions raced furiously in Stanley's feeble mind.
Okay, so what am I fucking doing here? Let me in. There's no way to make it on top anymore. Oh, there's the gates. Okay, it doesn't make a noise or anything. It just happens. Alright. Press the first button. Beep. I agree.
someone
The music
else's
going
control.
over
Never! He squeezed the bucket tighter. His one friend in the entire world. At this point, he could trust no one except
Fucking
for the
dramatic
bucket.
tension is absolutely fucking destroyed. Oh my god.
But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions. Happy, or sad, or content. Walking, eating, working, all of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again... But at the last second, the bucket jumped in and
What?
pressed the button to turn on the controls. Stanley gasped in horror.
No,
Had
why
this
is
been the
every
bucket's plan all
ending
along?
with the
To
bucket
take over the
bad?
machine and claim the power for itself? How could the bucket have betrayed him like this? Stanley was prepared to throw the bucket away in disgust when suddenly an image appeared upon the enormous screen. Birds.
Birds!
Silly birds. The control buttons became active again.
Silly birds! Yo! Yo! Wait,
Stanley flipped through one video of
Oh
silly
my
birds
God.
after another.
silly
and then
bird!
it dawned
I
on
love
him.
penguin.
This wasn't a mind control facility at all. It was a facility for monitoring and surveilling silly birds all over the world.
Oh, look at those silly birds.
The mind controls were only a facade to disguise its true intentions. Had the bucket known this all along? Stanley marveled at the metal genius in his hands, the one who had pointed him towards this
Goose.
incredible discovery.
Fuck off.
Stanley and
Hate
the bucket
Goose.
never found freedom because they spent the rest of their lives here in this place, flipping through live streams of the silliest birds imaginable.
Yo.
Of all the possible
Oh, look how
paths his
fluffy that
life could have
bird
taken,
is. It's a
this
fluffy
one
bird.
was surely the best. And Stanley was happy.
Yeah, I take it back. This is a fantastic ending. This is a fantastic ending. Every ending with the bucket is based. Except the one where I had to kill the bucket.
All of his co-workers
And the
were
other ending
gone.
where I had to kill the
What
bucket.
could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Why
The
so
bucket
many...
made Stanley want to be a better man and a better co-worker. In time, perhaps, he would become both of those things. Stanley clutched the bucket tightly
Why
to
are
his
there two
chest
endings
and
where I need to
entered
kill
the
the
door on
bucket?
his
I
left.
fucking hate it. This stinky, stinky ending. God, what? Where was the... Oh, it was the confusion ending. That was what it was. The bucket kill ending.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office. Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Crushed by the weight of this revelation, Stanley may have broken down into an emotional dumpster fire, if not for the soothing presence of the bucket. Even now, in his darkest of hours, did the bucket's warmth and guiding light pierce the dark clouds of confusion and chaos. It would be with him always. The bucket would, and he knew it. The two of them were inseparable. At this point, Stanley was so absorbed in the tender spiritual connection he shared with the bucket that he didn't notice the keypad behind the boss's desk. Nor in his bliss of simply being near the bucket did he have any notion that the PIN number for the keypad was 2845.
I keep fucking forgot. I told you, it's literally fucking autopilot.
Stanley just sat around twiddling his thumbs. Trying to input anything on the device was useless, since he could never possibly know that the combination was 2845. But Stanley guessed the correct code by sheer luck. Was it that the bucket knew all along? Was the bucket guiding him? Yes, this is certainly the most logical explanation.
Fucking what? What? Oh, it's fucking back here. God damn it.
And there it is. The last Stiggly Wiggly. Savor this moment, Stanley. This is a real accomplishment. This is doing something just for the sake of doing it. Where so many people expect to be rewarded for the most trivial achievements, you've insisted that a job well done is its own reward. I would tell you that I'm proud of you for collecting them all, but that would be like a reward, and we can't have that. So, instead I'll just say, it's done. We're all done here. And now we can go to whatever the hell you were doing before you hunted for figurines.
Great. I literally, I checked over here so many fucking times before that. And I never fucking finished. Cause like I said, it's autopilot and I already checked over there. My brain just skips.
Stanley, I'm sorry, but I have to put a pause on things. It's those figurines.
Oh
Those
my god, the
figures.
fucking bamboozle.
I haven't stopped thinking about them since you nabbed every last one. Wasn't it just the most intrinsically fulfilling moment of your entire life? Didn't it fill you to the brim with inner richness? Yes, I know we're supposed to be telling a story, but won't you please indulge me with one more trip back to the memory zone? I would love nothing more than to revisit the figurines. Just one more time.
No, I'm not. I'm just gonna play the game like normal. Guys, stop backseating now. Stinky. Griffin Stanley found the collectibles. Oh my! That fucking fake hallway actually got me for a second. Then I realized, wait a second, this perspective is weird. Muffin basket. The moment where we found muffins. Oh, new.
Here's where it all began. The first collectible. Back then, we had no idea of how many of them we'd find. Sure, it said 6 right there on the screen, but how could we know for certain? We were so innocent. We'll never be like that again, Stanley.
God, Oh, it's so bad. I hate the fucking... Oh. Oh no, what? Oh. We've overflowed. What the fuck?
And here was a second Stanlerine. You found this one all on your own, just by poking around in the boss's bathroom. You did that, Stanley. I'll be honest. Back then, I had no faith in you to find any of them, let alone 6. But you continue to surprise me in all sorts of mundane, unremarkable ways.
8 out of 6.
Okay, let's do a little quiz. Which of these rooms was the room you found your third mini Stan? Can you remember? Hey, that's exactly right. It was here, under the stairs. It was the third one. You picked it up, and then after that, you had 3 of them. I'm glad these moments are so crystal clear in your memory, but I shouldn't be surprised. After all, science tells us that it's impossible to forget your third time doing anything. Let's see, what came next? Oh yes, we found a Figley in this pink room. Oh, well, I can't actually say I remember being in this room, but it's here in the memory zone, so it must have happened.
Okay, wait. Wait, where do I go now? What the fuck? Huh? Oh, there's a path down. I didn't see this. Okay. I was thinking you go back to the other one, the other room, and you get like another one.
This was the 5th mini-Stan, and this one was really something special. It was by the red and blue doors. I remember it so clearly. In fact, because this one is particularly special to me, I made a little video to commemorate the occasion. Enjoy.
Oh my god, the fucking, like... The quality, like the one... Like the 144p.
Takes you back, doesn't it? I spent a lot of time making that video, but it was 8 minutes I wouldn't have spent on anything else. And then, Stanley, then we came to the last collectible, the final figurine, right here behind the boss's office. This memory is the most distinct and clear in my mind, perhaps because it was the one that happened more recently than all the others. Who can truly say how the mind works? All I know is that this is the moment where you picked up a Figley and I thought to myself, yes, that's all of them. They're all collected. It was a moment unlike any other. Except for the other moments picking up figurines, which it was exactly like.
Oh.
And then there was no more, because we've caught up to the present moment. Nothing left to do but move onward into the future. Goodbye, Memory Zone.
Oh, okay.
No, I'm not done. I'm not ready to move on. Stop the loading screen. Isn't there some way we can stay here, keep enjoying these figurines? Let's just go backwards. We'll do the Memory Zone again from the opposite direction. See how that feels.
Oh my god, we're gonna get...
Okay, yes. The back of the boss's office. I remember this. I must say, of all the figurines we looked at in our initial tour of the Memory Zone, this one is the most distinct and clear in my mind. Let's keep going. I want more.
Oh my fucking god. We gotta go through the red door this time.
And here's where I made that video. Don't you remember the video we watched? Yes, I love that video.
Okay.
Still don't remember the pink room, Stanley. Still no memory of this one. Good room, though. A solid room.
Good room. I agree. Pretty good room. It's pretty based room. God, now I forget where the fuck...
These really were a treat to hunt down.
There was the fucking warehouse.
No,
right.
If there had been any kind of reward for finding all of these, it really would have muted the intrinsic joy of collecting them. I'm very glad we resisted the temptation. Next one.
Oh, there's nothing here? Stinky. I wanted to get an extra one.
This was our second Figley. Don't you remember? Yes, I remember it too. The past is truly a wonderful thing.
Oh my
Why
God.
does anyone ever choose to leave it? Keep going.
That really fucks with you.
This is it.
The
The very first
mess
one
up
we
doors.
found in the exhibit where I introduced you to the figurines. Oh, I want more memories, Stanley. I want to keep going. What else is there? What came before this?
Oh, what? What the fuck is this? What the fuck is this? What is this? I don't like this weird, like, the fucking liminal spaces. Goddamn.
Look, it's the terrible new content that we were originally sold on. I remember hating it back then, but time does put a rosy filter on everything. In fact, I dare say I'm actually quite fond of it now. Look how much fun the past is. I want more. More memories. Oh, yes, the two doors. Who could have forgotten that? A classic memory, this one.
Ah, classic.
And before everything else, there was your office. Is there anything else? Was there something that came before your office? There's something I feel I can remember. I can remember.
Oh.
Yes, I'm remembering something now. I remember before this whole story got started. Back then I was...
Lore?
I was different.
Lore? Narrator
I used
lore?
to make big decisions. I was passionate. I was skeptical. I weighed each decision with profound thoughtfulness. And then somewhere along the way, I stopped making decisions. I became lazy. And I came up with a character named Stanley to do my thinking for me. He would make the decisions. He would decide which way to go. I would cheer him on as he collected figurines for no reason. Why did I invent Stanley? Was I lonely? Yes, perhaps that's it. Perhaps I needed to imagine I had companionship. And Stanley really did make for a wonderful companion, even if he was a fiction. But I suppose it's grown old. I want to think for myself again. I want to go back to how it used to be. Yes, I can be on my own again. I can do it. I'll be stronger this time. I'll take care of myself. I don't need Stanley anymore. Oh, but he truly was so much fun to play with. You know what?
What the fuck?
Since we're in the memory zone, how about one more good memory? Let's go back just once and give Stanley one more run of the office, and then I'll retire him for good. I did enjoy telling his story so very much. Okay, here we go.
What the fuck?
This is the story of a man named Stanley.
I feel like Ralph right now. I feel like Ralph. The thin barrier keeps...
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean?
God,
Stanley decided to
I
go
like
to the
that.
meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Not everyone is so lucky to have a bucket, but Stanley is a very lucky fellow. Very lucky indeed.
Oh wait, we didn't press the input. We should have pressed the input before getting the bucket, damn it. Oh no.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest. This was not the correct way to the meeting room, but Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be. And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? Was this no? Never mind. The bucket was wrong.
No.
Stanley took the door on his left to go back to the meeting room.
No,
Said the bucket.
don't go to the meeting room. Go somewhere else. The cargo lift, yes. Go there. Go to the cargo lift. Good.
Said the bucket.
But Stanley feared that any path he walked might lead to the separation of himself and the bucket, his
True.
dearest friend.
I agree.
So he threw himself to his death, that they might die in one another's arms. How deeply touching. All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room.
It takes a lot of humility to carry a bucket so magnificent. Stanley checked his ego and then proceeded onward.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his... This was not the correct way to the meeting room, but Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be. And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? Was no, never mind. The bucket was wrong.
What if we do
Stanley took the door on his left to go back to the meeting
vending.
room.
No,
Said the bucket.
don't go to the meeting room. Go somewhere else. The cargo lift, yes. Go there. Go to the cargo lift.
Ooh, ooh, ooh. bucket tape ending. Tape bucket ending. Huh?
Okay, this is day number 295. Tape number... I don't even know.
What the fuck?
I've
What the
lost
fuck?
track. Nothing feels real anymore. The longer I study this bucket, the less sense anything makes. The sheer euphoria I feel every time
What the
I
fuck?
pick it up.
What the fuck?
No matter how many times I've done it, it's always the same feeling. And the emptiness in my chest when I set it down. It doesn't make sense. There's no explanation for it. I still haven't figured out why I see the world so differently when this bucket is in my arms. Why everything feels so... What do I do with this treasure? I can monetize it. Yes. It's unthinkable the amounts of money people will pay for even just an hour with the bucket.
What the
This is my golden ticket. But I have to be careful,
fuck is this?
because as soon as this gets out, there's going to be a target on my back. Even now, I don't know who might be trying to get... What's that? Who's there?
What the fuck? 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 Oh my god. The music is saying button. Oh, lovely. Alright. Buttons. I agree, honestly. And we just have awaiting input just constantly on our desk. Alright.
How wonderful. Stanley was alone. Finally. This is great, he thought to himself. This is what I've wanted all along. I got what I wanted.
Stanley cradled the bucket in a gentle embrace, protective yet delicate, assertive yet compassionate.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on
What
his left.
is in the meeting room, though? What is the meeting room?
Still no one was here. Stanley needed the bucket's warmth and comfort now more than ever.
Okay, no
Perhaps his
more
boss's
collect.
office was where he'd find answers.
No more collect.
Stanley, we must move on from this broom closet, simply because I have no remaining stickers.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs
I'm
to
still
the
thinking
boss's
about
office.
Mariella backflipping to work. Wait,
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to
I have
discover
jammed
not an
the door.
indication of any human life. Crushed by the weight of this revelation, Stanley may have broken down into an emotional dumpster fire if not for the soothing presence of the bucket. Even now, In
That's
its
it.
darkest of hours, did the bucket's
an ending.
warmth and guiding light pierce
how you
the
get that
dark
ending.
clouds of confusion and chaos.
I
It
remember.
would be with him always. The bucket would, and he knew it.
No, I absolutely remember that being a thing.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean?
So you can back out of that
Stanley
door.
decided to go to the meeting room.
Stanley's bucket, the only co-worker he would ever truly need.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left. Still no one was here. Stanley needed the bucket's warmth and comfort now more than ever. Perhaps his boss's office was where he'd find answers. Coming to a staircase, Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office.
I did it almost correctly. I just need to, like, not fuck it up.
Stepping into his manager's office,
No, I fucked it up. I need to commit to the backward a little bit more.
just a step through this door, Stanley thought to himself, that's all I need. If I can make it through this door,
Is Stanley, without the bucket, really Stanley at all? No, surely not.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left.
Bucket ending.
Still no one was here. Stanley needed the bucket's warmth and comfort now more than ever. Perhaps his boss's office was where he'd find answers. Coming to a staircase, Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office.
Commit to the backward.
Stepping in,
Oh, we did it! Okay, well, the trigger didn't work last time because we jammed the door. But it worked this time. Now we can go all the way. We can go all the way. Number of slides in this slide. Charts and slides. Wait, which charts in the same slide depict the same information? Rate of increase of graphs per slide. Please don't merchandise, please. I beg you, stop. Alright, so they broke this ending. The done goofed ending. And now this door's open, yeah. And we go up a whole bunch of fucking stairs. You are now leaving. You know, the reassurance that I get from this bucket rattling constantly in my right ear. Lovely. I really noticed it in the silence, that it's just cradling my fucking right eardrum. That's great. Thank you, bucket. Definitely is not irritating. It's fine. It's fine. You have the bucket. It's reassuring. You know, it's fine. Escape pod launch bay. Vaguely see the hallway. It's very dark. Be free. Be free, bucket. The fucking music.
How long was I sitting there? Stanley wondered to himself. Minutes? Days? Centuries? Did something crucial happen while my senses were turned?
Oh no! What?
He made a note to be more careful with time from now
Wait,
on.
no! Wait, no! Wait, no! I've made a mistake! I've made a mistake! Thomas, you fuck, you didn't tell me! You didn't tell me! You should have warned me!
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered that this was not the correct way to the meeting room.
I need to fucking...
Wait, Stanley thought to himself. Am I sure that the orders stopped coming in? How is that possible? They never stopped. Surely I was mistaken. No, the orders were still missing. For now.
Can I get a bucket? Can I get the bucket? Oh my god. Replacement bucket! Thank you, buddy.
And try not to lose this one too, you dolt.
Wait, now we can get the sitting in your room forever ending. Dolt. Dolt is one of my favorite insults. I need to use it more. You dingus. Dolt is it hits, you know, you dolt. Bucket heaven? Bucket heaven? True ending? Bucket button. 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 Yes. So I'm assuming you can't get that unless it has that specific dialogue. Because otherwise...
All of his co-workers
yeah, the door
were gone.
closes right there.
What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had...
As Stanley lifted his bucket, he felt a connection to all buckets everywhere. This
Damn.
adventure, he decided, was for all of them.
That's gonna be really overwhelming because everything's a bucket. It's the lore. It's the deep lore that we've learned. Alright. What?
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered.
This was not the correct way to the meeting room, but Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling
What
him
happens
that
if we
the
say
employee
that
lounge
everything
was
isn't a
simply
bucket?
the place to be.
I want to see what the other...
And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? Well, no, never mind. The bucket was wrong. Stanley took the door on his left to go back to the meeting room.
No,
Said the bucket.
don't go to the meeting room. Go somewhere else. The cargo lift, yes. Good.
Said the bucket.
Now ride the lift all the way to the top. There's something up there I need you to do.
Stanley did not question why or how this bucket was speaking to him. It should have alarmed him, of course, because buckets can't talk. But Stanley chose not to think about this obvious fact. He was firmly convinced that the bucket had spoken to him, and he unthinkingly did whatever... No, stop! Look there on the wall, you see? There's a sign right there. It says, no buckets past this point. Stanley, how could you think it was okay to bring the bucket here? Unless... What if the problem is that you actually don't know what is a bucket and what isn't a bucket? I suppose that would explain a lot about your behavior up to this point. Which, if that's true, well, my goodness, I think we have to do something about it. This misunderstanding could have dire consequences on the entire rest of the game if not addressed.
I
quickly
just
and properly.
realized
So
Marilyn
much of the
backflipped to
impact
work
of the
with a
story is
bucket, like, in
dependent
her
on your
hands.
understanding of what is and
How do you
isn't
backflip
a bucket. Please,
down the
step in here
street
for a moment.
while carrying a bucket? That's fucking impressive. Like, that thought just struck me.
Now then, I'm going to run you through some test scenarios, and you'll tell me whether or not the thing I'm showing you is a bucket. Simple enough, right? This should tell us everything we'll ever need to know about what is or is not a bucket. Okay, let's begin. Item 1. Is this a bucket? Incorrect. It is a hologram of a bucket, not an actual bucket. Item 2. Is this a bucket? Incorrect. It is a 3D printed recreation of a bucket, not an actual bucket.
Then we answered yes for this one.
Item 3. Is this a bucket? Incorrect. This is a bucket.
We're gonna answer the opposite that we did the other time.
Item 4. Is this a bucket?
Fucking tractor.
Correct. This is a tractor and not a bucket. To be honest, I just sort of put this one in here as a gimme, but I was starting to get concerned that even this might be too much for you. Thank you for not making me look like an idiot. Okay, next one. Is this a bucket? Incorrect. This is a bucket. Item 6. Is this a bucket?
I think we answered no.
Trick question.
Oh,
Both. Gotcha.
both. Gosh.
Item... Wait, hold on. I can't find the next one. Let me see. It should be around here somewhere.
Everything is not a bucket.
Yes. Thank you. There's nothing here. Of course it isn't a bucket. We both know full well that nothing isn't a bucket. Wait, when I say nothing isn't a bucket, that makes it sound like I'm saying everything is a bucket. Of course it's not true. Unless...
I mean...
Is that what you think? Answer me straight, Stanley. Are you trying to tell me that you believe everything is a bucket?
No, not this time.
You know what? I'm too confused to even sort it out. I've lost all sense of perspective.
It's just the same
What
end.
is a bucket? What isn't a bucket? Mere moments ago I could answer these questions with confidence.
Damn, it's just the same.
And yet now I'm somewhat adrift. Do any of us know what a bucket is? Am I a bucket?
Maybe.
Stanley, I can't keep doing this. I'm losing myself, and myself was all I ever had to begin with. I'm afraid the bucket is threatening to tear our relationship apart. I can't have that. I'm sorry. But I'm going to erase all buckets from the game entirely. Okay, here we go. What happened? Is everything gone? Why did everything disappear? Wait, was everything a bucket? Every single thing in the game was a bucket. Oh my God, I had no idea. How could... except me. I'm not a bucket up.
Yeah. It's a really good ending, though. It's a really good ending. Alright, let's do the...
I can't wait to tell this story to my co-workers, Stanley thought. How amusing they'll find it. Oh, won't we all just laugh and laugh at the time I thought everyone had gone missing.
Man! There's man. Man spotted. We found one co-worker. 1 out of 6.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, this was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly
do the ending
well.
that fucks
Perhaps
with
he
you.
wanted to stop by the employee lounge first,
Like the ending
just to
that
admire
very fucks with you.
it. It was okay.
Oh.
But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left. Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago. Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time.
There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley. Someone you've forgotten about. Please, stop trying to make every decision by yourself. Now, I'm not asking for me, I'm asking for her. This is it, Stanley. Your chance to redeem yourself. To put your work aside. To let her back into your life.
Excuse me, sorry,
She's
but
been waiting.
actually I'm gay, so it's a little offensive.
That's her,
phone.
Stanley. You need to be the one to do this. To reach out to her.
And then here's the part where it fucks with you.
Oh, Stanley, is that you? Hold on, sweetie. Sorry to keep you waiting. I'm just pulling the bread out of the oven. All right. Okay, there we go.
And then it's
I
gonna
want
do
you
the
to come in
fucking.
and tell me all about your
Gotcha. Oh, come on. Did you actually think
No,
you had
I have a
loving
husband.
wife?
I am
They want to
homosexual.
commit their life to you. I'm trying to make a point here, Stanley. I'm trying to get you to see something. Come inside. Let me show you what's really going on here. This is a very sad story about the death of a man named
I am
Stanley.
homosexual. Who is stinky women? Where you put? Press a U on your keyboard.
Stanley is quite a boring fellow. He has a job that demands nothing of him, and every button that he pushes
Damn.
is a reminder of the inconsequential nature of
So
his
true. We Fit
existence.
trainer. Damn, we gotta take the L.
Look at him there, pushing buttons, doing exactly what he's told to do. Now he's pushing a button. Now he's eating lunch. Now he's going home. Now he's coming back to work.
Step on the
One might
table on
even
this.
feel sorry for him, except that he's chosen this life.
H.
But in his mind, in his mind he can go on fantastic adventures. From behind his desk, Stanley dreamed of wild expeditions into the unknown, fantastic discoveries of new lands. It was wonderful. And each day that he returned to work was a reminder that none of it would ever happen to him.
Press I to watch TV.
And so he began to fantasize about his own job. First, he imagined that one day while at work, he stepped up from his desk to realize that all of his co-workers, his boss, everyone in the building had suddenly vanished off the face of the earth. The thought excited him terribly.
Press K to spend time with the boys.
So he went further. He imagined that he came to two open doors and that he could go through either. At last, choice. It barely even mattered what lay behind each door. The mere thought that his decisions would mean something was almost too wonderful to behold.
This is R to prepare dinner.
As he wandered through this fantasy world, he began to fill it with many possible paths and destinations. Down one path lay an
So
enormous round room
fucking-
with monitors and mind controls. And down
Fucks-
another was a yellow
fucks with
line
you
that
so
weaved
hard.
in many directions.
Line
Down
to
another
you.
was a game with a baby. And he called it the Stanley Parable.
Press V to tell your kids a story.
It was such a wonderful fantasy, and so in his head he relived it again, and then again, and again, over and over, wishing beyond hope that it would never end, that he might always feel this free. Surely there's an answer down some new path, mustn't there be? Perhaps if he played just one more time.
Press G to tell your wife you love her. I'm gay. I'm sorry.
But there is no answer.
That's what the G
How could there
pressing
possibly
G
be?
stands for.
In reality, all he's doing is pushing the same buttons he always has. Nothing has changed. The longer he spends here, the more invested he gets, the more he forgets which life is the real one.
Press U to go to sleep. If only it was
And
that
I'm
easy.
trying to tell him this, that in this world he can never be anything but an observer, that as long as he remains here, he's slowly killing himself. But he won't listen to me. He won't stop. Here, watch this. Stanley, the next time the screen asks you to push a button, do not do it.
Where's I to be at work in the morning? Oh no.
You see? Can he just not hear me? How can I tell him in a way that he'll understand that every second he remains here, he's electing to kill himself? How can I get him to see what I see? How can I make him look at himself?
I mean, try a bottomless hole. Press G to question nothing.
I suppose I can't.
Twitter user.
Not in the way I want him to. But I don't make the rules. I simply play to my intended purpose, the same as Stanley. We're not so different, I suppose. I'll try once more to convey all this to him. I'm compelled to. I must. Perhaps, well, maybe this time he'll see. Maybe this time. And I tried again, and Stanley pushed a button. And I tried again, and Stanley pushed a button. And I tried.
Kill.
Someone was following Stanley. He was sure of it. If he checked over his shoulder now, he would surely catch them. It was only a matter of time.
It was that man, the man that we were man who's going down here. That was the guy.
What new mysteries lay in store for our bucket-loving heroes today? Let's find out.
I just wanted to get that in because I'm not sure. Just because I already remembered what happened.
Stanley clutched the bucket
It's a
tightly to his
refresher.
chest. This was not the
As a
correct way to
refresher.
the meeting room. But Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be.
Place to be.
And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? Was this better than the meeting room? Yes, Stanley thought to himself. Yes, perhaps it truly was. How insightful the bucket turned out to be. No, never mind.
Shut the fuck
bucket
up.
was wrong.
Bucket is always right.
Stanley
I'm
took
gonna
the
listen
door
to the
on his
bucket
left
instead of
to
you.
go back to the meeting room.
Dumbass.
No,
Said the bucket.
don't go to the meeting room. Go somewhere else. The cargo lift, yes. Good.
Said the bucket.
Now ride the lift all the way to the top. There's something up there I need you to do.
Stanley did not question why or how this bucket was speaking to him. It should have alarmed him, of course, because buckets can't talk. But Stanley chose not to think about this obvious fact. He was firmly convinced that the bucket had spoken to him, and he unthinkingly did whatever the bucket asked.
In here.
Said the bucket.
Go into this dark room over here.
Stanley once again obeyed blindly.
Now pick up the phone.
Said the bucket.
Pick up the phone, and it will take us back home, where we can go about life together.
This is the sad story of a man named Stanley and his bucket. Once upon a time, I gave Stanley a bucket because I thought he was lonely and could use a friend. And then, very distressingly, he began to believe the bucket could speak to him.
Oh no. Oh no, what is this? What is this? It's gonna fuck with me again. Bucket. Abstract bucket. I mean, you know, it's just a Rorschach test, and it's not even a bucket. It's just what I believe. Believe in my heart. Jazz music. It's so true. I agree. Oh, the bucket. Stanley, it's me, your bucket. Press P to take me to work with you. Okay. Thank you, bucket.
The Stanley Parable Reassurance Bucket was merely meant to provide the comforting glow of companionship. It doesn't literally talk and give you orders. Whatever Stanley is hearing the bucket say to him is just in his head.
It's cute to take me back home.
Lately, I've been concerned about him. Wouldn't you be concerned as well? To see him delusional like this, obsessing over an inanimate metal object? I want to say something to him, but I don't know how I can convince him. I don't know if he'll listen to me.
Press V to go back to work.
Oh, I'll try anyway. Stanley, can you hear me? Listen to me. It's just a bucket. It can't think, it can't talk. All it will ever truly do for you is effectively transfer a liquid from one location to a different location. That's it. It doesn't do anything else.
has a cool sticker on it. Don't listen to the loud man. Press X to go back home.
You see, he's not listening. He's still taking orders from the bucket. You know, once upon a time it was me he took orders from. Me he trusted and listened to. Now all he cares about is his awful bucket. This stupid hunk of metal.
You ignore anyone in your life except for me. Thank you, Bucket. I agree.
It's sad. I suppose he doesn't need me anymore. From now on, he's just going to cling to this bucket, this cold, empty bucket, this sort of shiny bucket. Well, I'll give it this. The bucket does have a nice shine
So
to it.
true. See, he's turning around, you know? Don't you, Stanley? Press M to go back home.
Yes, I suppose on closer inspection that it doesn't quite look like your average hardware store bucket. It's just a little more, what am I trying to say? Sturdier, more capable of transporting liquid. Like it would be better at moving an amount of water from one room to another.
The same day with me over and over. Oh no.
Oh my God, what am I saying? Better at carrying water from room to room.
Bucket.
It's a bucket. It's literally just a bucket.
The shadow.
Why do I feel some need to point out the ways in which it's so much more than just a regular bucket?
Because it's the best bucket. It's each to go to home, to work to home.
Oh no. I'm having feelings for the bucket. No. What's going on? Why do I want to be with the bucket? Hear what the bucket has to say. Do anything it asks. What's wrong with me? I don't understand. Perhaps if I had the bucket, this would be less confusing. Yes. The bucket could tell me what to do in this troublesome situation. Stanley, give me the bucket.
No!
Give
What
it
the
to
fuck?
me. Give me the bucket, Stanley.
What the
I
fuck?
need it. Give it to me now. Give it or I'll...
What the fuck? No, don't take my bucket. Go back to work, Stanley. Oh, and then it's gonna... Then I'm back. It's back to... Oh my God, that... This fucking game. Huh? Huh? Phone? 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 Phone. God, I don't like that though. I can't do anything about the phone though. That doesn't work.
Now this, Stanley thought to himself, this is a bucket. And indeed it was.
Dear God. Hit the bucket? No, it's made. You can tell because if I click anywhere else, it's gonna make those click clack noises. It's interacting with the phone. It's just not doing anything because you can tell because it's not making the click clack noises. It means it is interacting. The lack of feedback is an indication of an interaction. Isn't that funky, fresh, and backwards? I think we've gotten...
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door.
Yeah, we got every
left.
bucket ending. We've gotten every ending with the bucket. Except for... the...
Still no one was here. Stanley needed the bucket's warmth and
the
comfort
fact
now
that they
more
made
than
an
ever.
entire fucking
Perhaps
expansion
his
and
boss's
it's
office
just...
was where he'd find answers.
They
Coming to a
focused-
staircase.
they
Stanley and
focused
the
the
bucket
entire-
were upstairs to the boss's office.
gag on this fucking bucket. Like who comes up with this fucking thing?
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Crushed by the weight of this revelation, but Stanley guessed the correct code by sheer luck.
Wow.
Was it that the bucket knew all along? Was the bucket guiding him?
I'm
Yes,
so cool.
this is certainly the most logical explanation.
I'm so cool. Alright. This is literally just bucket ending.
Stanley and the bucket walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control. Although this passageway had the word escape written on it, the truth was that at the end of this hall, Stanley and the bucket would both meet a violent death. The door behind them was not shut. Stanley and the bucket still had every opportunity to turn around and get back on track. At this point, Stanley and the bucket were knowingly walking forward into a very painful death for each of them.
Now we go to the advanced level. God, remember when I was playing 3D Land? Because I don't. Not anymore. Because I played Forgotten Land. I played this.
As the machine whirred into motion and Stanley and the bucket inched closer to their demise, Stanley reflected on how meaningless the bucket's warmth and comfort had turned out to be. To be sure, it puts the mind and the soul at ease to embrace the bucket, but what use is a sense of ease when you're about to be crushed to death?
True.
This is what Stanley thought to himself, and he sort of kicked himself for wasting so much time carrying a bucket everywhere. Farewell, Stanley.
Farewell, Stanley, cried the narrator, as Stanley and the bucket were led helplessly into the enormous metal jaws. In a single visceral instant, the bucket's life came to an end, as it was crushed violently to death.
The bucket, goddamn.
It was a shame, the death of such a magnificent bucket. It's true that all buckets are radiant in their own way, but this one stood above the rest. It was a glorious bucket to behold.
Oh my fucking god. Okay, the bucket. The grid. Standing at the precipice of knowledge, much like a bucket itself, the human mind is frequently empty within cavernous void, but through use of the exhibit in front of you, the mind becomes full and enriched and substantiated. Knowledge of the bucket and its history is the only true knowledge we really have. Will you take what you learned here out with you to the real world? Will you accept with an open mind what may be challenging about the information in the exhibit? Will you change the lives of yourself and your loved ones as a result of the exhibit? Or will you turn a blind eye and continue to live as you were, in ignorance and darkness? Truly, this is a bucket moment.
Can you see how arrogant it was for Stanley to take a bucket like this and to claim it for his own? Can you see the hubris that blinded him? Can you see that the bucket is far more noble than Stanley will ever be in his short life?
Inferno bucket. A replica of the Inferno bucket, in which medieval arrows so... Replica of the Inferno bucket, which in the medieval era was so powerfully alluring that it drove dozens of nations to war with one another for control of it. Billions died, yet in spite of it all, its simple fact remains that no one can control a bucket. The stress bucket analogy. Worrying, negative forecast, negative thinking, lack of reassurance, vulnerability, size and strength. The bucket. Coping strategies equals holes. Rest and relaxation. Doing something you enjoy. Rest, relaxation. Stress, level of water in the bucket. Presented without comment. I mean, that's true. It is. The Inferno bucket. Bucket with two handles. This bucket is depicted of having two handles. Such a design has never been created in real life, having been deemed too dangerous and recklessly experimental. Every year, dozens are put to death just for attempting. Oh, it's the infinite hole. We're gonna fall in the infinite hole. Our cave drawing. Well, we know that buckets predate the existence of mankind. We do not know by how long. This cave drawing depicts early man's discovery of the practical uses of the bucket, by which time the bucket had already been likely around for several millennia. Notice in these drawings how the bucket is allowing itself to be used, having judged humanity to be worthy of its treasures.
No man can own a bucket, and certainly not a bucket as dazzling to behold as this one. It is man who should kneel before the bucket.
Why lights? There's so many lights in various places. The hanging bucket. This piece symbolizes the necessary relationship between bucket and humanity. However clear our grasp of the bucket may be, there is yet more that's always out of reach. This is inevitably is for our own good. Where? Oh, I'm gonna...
But there is something we can do. Something we can do together, you and I, that will right this terrible wrong. Let Stanley die. Let him be crushed by the machine. Don't reset the game. Don't give him another opportunity to run off with another beautiful bucket. We can save the world's buckets from their treatment as tools and implements if only we let Stanley die together. The bucket shall take its place as ruler, as leader, as commander of a new world, a new vision.
God, bucket ending. So true.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had...
Finally, yes, the bucket. Yes, yes, yes. I love that bucket.
Oh God, I love that bucket. What the fuck? What the fuck? Huh? Oh, okay.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left. This was not the correct way to the meeting room, but Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be. And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? Was this better than the meeting room? Yes, Stanley thought to himself. Yes, no, never mind. The bucket was wrong.
It was
Stanley
so wrong
took
that
the
we
door
need
on
to
his
kill
left
it.
to go back to,
Okay,
and so
time-
the two of them detoured through the maintenance section and walked straight ahead to the opposite
We
door.
have to kill the bucket. I'm so sorry. At least it's not as bad as the white void ending.
Oh, good, Stanley. I'm glad you found your way here. I knew you'd find this place eventually. You see, your friends and I are concerned
And now
for
it
you,
makes
Stanley.
sense. There's the...
We've come together here because we
the
care about you very
fucking
much.
wife.
It's this bucket you're carrying around everywhere. The bucket isn't even from the original Stanley Parable. It's just sequel content. We're the ones that matter, Stanley. Classic characters from the first game, like the Adventure Line and the Broom Closet. Because that's what fans want from a sequel. They want more of their favorite jokes, not this bucket that they've never seen before. Yes, I know I'm the one who gave you the bucket, but you're spending too much time with it. Don't you want another story involving the Adventure Line? We could make the Adventure Line go somewhere new. Yes, yes, that's what the fans want. Let's do it. Whee! Look at that wacky line. Who knows where it'll go off to next? Oh, and it played some silly music as well.
God, this song is actually really good. I really like this song.
Now this is what the Stanley Parable is all about. Don't you remember all those great jokes from the original dialogue?
Also, Stanley is addicted to drugs and hookers.
Yes, it's as classic now as it was back then. Let's do it for the fans, Stanley. Let's give them more content exactly like this. But if we want to do that, you're going to have to give something up.
Oh, this is the worst.
Don't you get it, Stanley? We need to get rid of the bucket. That's why I'm very proud to introduce a brand new character. This is the Bucket Destroyer. I think it'll make a wonderful new addition to the rich lore of the Stanley Parable. True, it also was not in the original game, but it's such a well-fleshed-out character with so much personality that to me it already feels as though it's been part of the cast all along. Don't you agree?
My God.
Can you guess what the Bucket Destroyer does? Surely you don't need me to spell it out for you. Go ahead now, Stanley. Say goodbye to the bucket, and then pop it into the machine when you're ready.
Goodbye, Bucket. I have no idea whether you're evil or not.
Now listen to me. It's crucial that you give it the bucket. I don't know what the Bucket Destroyer will do if it can't destroy your bucket. Destroying buckets is all it knows. That is its singular personality trait. Sure, I can hear you saying, how does a character with only one personality trait deserve to join the pantheon of beloved Stanley Parable characters?
It won't let me.
Well, you see, if you were to really explore the Bucket Destroyer, you would see that its desire to crush buckets is so densely loaded with complexity and nuance that it's really like 10 personality traits. What other object in this game can you even say that about? The broom closet? Certainly not. I wonder what sort of Bucket Destroyer merchandise the fans will be clamoring for after this. Okay, the Bucket Destroyer is getting very upset now. You'll have to hurry and feed it. We can't get back to the classic Stanley Parable characters like the Adventure Line or the Bucket Destroyer until you crush that damn bucket.
I don't like standing this fucking close to it.
The fans, Stanley, give the fans what they want. Hurry and...
I don't like standing that close to it. Because it's not... Because I know there's no fucking, like, hitbox or any fucking thing. I just don't like it.
The Bucket Destroyer. My prized creation. You had so much potential. We were going to do...
Okay, yeah. Alright. We've now officially become cool.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room.
I need to get the one where the door is open.
All of his co-workers...
Fishing for dialogue,
Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. A soft wind blew outside and perhaps rain started, and if it did, it stopped shortly after. Stanley hoped that he would one day see weather. All of his co-workers were gone. All of his co-workers were gone.
Fun. Oh, door's open.
One man, one bucket, one chance to seize their destiny together.
Alright, let's do this ending, where we just stand here. Which hopefully works with the bucket. Hopefully. Hopefully they accounted for this. Yeah, the fucking anxiety of standing in front of large machinery. Like, that's exactly how you lose a fucking few fingers. Even half an arm, who knows? It's a very large machine. Probably could lose half an arm. Yeah. You see, either the phone needs to, the game needs to let me answer the phone, or the phone needs to, or the person on the other side of the phone needs to fucking give up. Alright, I think we've exhausted our options. Oh wait, can we fucking wait? I'm stupid.
All of his co.
What? Can we close the door?
All of his.
Can we close the door and that's how we get that ending? Now we got a different hallway though.
Just a step through this door.
Cause yeah, I think we can.
But Stanley simply.
Yeah. That's how we get that ending.
All of his.
This is a little annoying.
Already, this was uncomfortable, and Stanley decided that as soon as he found a new space he felt safe in, that he would never leave it again in his life.
That's so true. Bucket.
It's bucket time.
It's bucket time.
All of his.
No. This kind of sucks. I'm not even sure if this is an ending because you need to do this, but if it is.
Stanley knew the office layout like the back of his hand. It was only a matter of time before he found the others, wherever they were. How wonderful. Stanley. All of his co-workers
No. No. Oh.
All of his.
It's bucket time.
God damn it. Thought it was close enough proximity.
All of his.
God damn it. We had our opportunity and we blew it. We blew it. We fucking blew it. Oh.
All of his co.
Wet.
Already this was Even now, Stanley's office was. How long was I sitting there?
Give me the dialogue. Give me the good shit so I can. Oh, phone ringing. Good omen. Good omen. We can get our bucket and we can go back home.
Bucket time.
It's bucket time.
But Stanley simply couldn't handle the pressure. What if he had to make a decision? What if a crucial outcome fell under his responsibility? He had never been trained for that. No. This couldn't go anywhere except badly.
There's no bucket
The thing to do now, Stanley thought to himself, is to wait. Nothing will hurt me. Nothing will break me. In here I can be happy forever. I will be happy. Stanley waited. Hours passed, then days. Had years gone by? He no longer had the ability to tell. But the one thing he knew for sure, beyond any doubt, was that if he waited long enough, the answers would come. Eventually, someday, they would arrive. Soon, very soon now, this will end. He will be spoken to. He will be told what to do. Now it's just a little bit closer. Now it's even closer. Here it comes.
Damn. And there's not even a bucket ending. Oh. God, I really want to... Pick up the fucking phone.
It's bucket time.
I hate that you can't pick up the phone. Let me up. Answer it with the bucket. God. I don't like that. It's very annoying. Very unsatisfying to not be able to do that. New content. No going in the new content door. What a sad.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left.
No, I'm running through it. I think we got every ending. Yeah. On the right, there's more endings, but it's... Oh. No, I think we got everything. I guess we'll do the true ending then.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, this was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well.
Cap it off. We didn't get
Perhaps
every...
he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
We didn't get every normal ending, but we'll get
It was okay. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
Let's get the last...
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
The last this ending.
Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley. Someone you've forgotten about.
Nice little capper.
Please, stop trying to make every decision by yourself. Now, I'm not asking for me. I'm asking, this is it, Stanley. Your chance to redeem yourself. To put your work aside. To let her back into your life. She's been waiting. That's her, Stanley. You need to...
Oh, no, you can't... Did you just unplug the phone? No, that wasn't supposed to be a choice. How did you do that? You actually chose incorrectly? I didn't even know that was possible. Let me double check. No, it's definitely here, clear as day. Stanley picks up the phone. He's taken to his apartment where he finds his wife, and the two pledge themselves to one another.
Sure.
Music comes in, fade to white, roll credits. Not picking up the phone is actually somehow an incorrect course of action. How is that even possible? None of these decisions were supposed to mean anything. I don't understand. How on earth are you making meaningful choices? What did you... Wait a second. Did I just see... No, that's not possible. I can't believe it. How had I not noticed it sooner? You're not Stanley. You're a real person. I can't believe I was so mistaken. This is why you've been able to make correct and incorrect choices. And to think I've been letting you run around in this game for so long. If you'd made any more wrong choices, you might have negated it entirely. It's as though you completely ignored even the most basic safety protocol for real-world decision-making. Or did you not grasp the severity of the situation? Well, I won't have that kind of risk on my watch. I'm going to stop the game for a moment so we can educate you properly on safe decision-making in the real world. Please observe this helpful instructional video.
Let's go.
Choice. It's the best part of being a real person. But if used incorrectly, can also be the most dangerous. For example, in this scenario, a hypothetical real person named Rupert has a choice.
You can make a Twitter account or you can just fucking not.
He could invent a machine that eliminates food shortages across the world to make life better for all people. Or he could spend years of hard work forgetting how to read. Which choice would you make? Remember that unlike here, the real world makes sense, and at no time should you make a choice that does not conform to rational logic. If you find yourself speaking with a person who does not make sense, in all likelihood, that person is not real. Allow the person to finish their thought, then provide an excuse why you cannot continue talking. Turn to a partner and practice saying, "My goodness, is it 4:30? I'm supposed to be having a back, sack, and crack."
My goodness.
Excellent.
Oh.
Making choices on a regular
okay.
basis is the best part to a healthy decision-making process. Most medical professionals recommend making at least 8 choices per day. Do you make more than 8? Less? And finally, if you begin to wonder if your choices are actually meaningful and whether you'll ever make a significant contribution to the world, just remember that in the vast infiniteness of space, your thoughts and problems are materially insignificant, and the feeling should subside. At this time, your instructor will guide you in an exercise to test and reinforce the material covered in this video.
Welcome back. You may have noticed that this room has begun to deteriorate as a result of narrative contradiction. But not to worry. Now that you're properly informed on good decision-making, we're going to revisit a choice you made just a few minutes ago and see what the correct thing to do would have been. This way, please.
Okay, I've been shoved out of the way, thank you.
Now that we know your choices are meaningful, we can't have you jumping off the platform and dying. Imagine the main character dying senselessly halfway through the story. That story would make no sense at all. We just need to get you home as soon as possible before the narrative contradiction gets any worse. Unfortunately, it seems this place is not well equipped to deal with reality.
So true. I agree. We're lying right now. Stop. I agree.
Almost there. You'll take the door on the left, back to the correct ending, the story will have resolution once again, and you'll be home free in the real world. Now remember, all you need to do is behave exactly as Stanley would. That means choosing responsibly and always putting the story first. I'm quite sure you'll be up to the task. Just follow my lead and you'll be fine. All right. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Okay.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
Huh?
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Disgusting. Oh, is this the old map? What a stinky error. What a stinky error this is.
Stepping inside his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked,
oh, that's
unraveled,
right. That's
Stanley
right.
wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this, until he saw the door with a voice receiver next to it. Surely behind this door lay all the answers to his questions. And beyond all probability, he knew the passcode. He had seen it on his boss's computer just last week. Nightshark 115. Was this the code to open the door? Would it still work? There was only one way to find out. Stanley had been trained never to speak up, but now he would draw from within himself the courage to face the unknown. He drew a sharp breath and then spoke the code.
I'm sorry, I'm a silent protagonist. I can't do shit about this.
Stanley spoke the code. Nightshark 115. He spoke it into the receiver, right there on the wall.
Sorry, I can't help you, man.
I'm sorry, is there a problem? You didn't mishear me, did you? Please speak the code into the receiver. Otherwise, we can't get on with the story. This is a crucial step.
Oops.
Okay, fine. You're not going to do it. But you know what? It's pretty humiliating to bring you this far, only for you to suddenly decide you have better things to do. I asked you for this one single thing, for your respect. The kind of respect Stanley shows for his choices. He knows what it means to take a story seriously. If you didn't want to see what I had to show you, then why did you come here? You had a choice, you know. You could have gone through the door on the right. You could have done whatever the hell you wanted over there. Why did you come this way? Speak. Say something to me. Explain yourself, you coward. You behave exactly as Stanley would. That means choosing responsibly and always putting the story first. I'm quite sure you'll be up to the task. Just follow my lead and you'll be fine. All right. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
I've chosen wrong.
No! Why did you do that? Quickly, hurry back in the other direction. Perhaps we're not too late.
Okay. Uh-oh.
It's ruined. I can't believe, after everything we talked about, that my story, you've destroyed my work. Why? For what? What did you get out of that? What did you think was so special about seeing the game undone, left here like so much garbage? It's worthless now. And what am I supposed to do? Even if there were a way to continue, would it be worth it? To know that my story is now incorrect? How can I go back to that? I can't erase that knowledge. I'll have to live with it forever, reliving its impossibility forever. I couldn't live that way. Is it better to shut the game down entirely? To willingly destroy all of my work? I don't know. What's the answer? What do I do? What do I do? What do I... No, I have to. I have to shut the game down. I have to. I have to.
Ah! Killed.
I'm here. I'm still here. Here in this pile of rubbish. With you. You, who thought you were so clever. Now look where we are. My entire game is destroyed. It was the only thing in the world that was mine, and you've run it into the ground. What, did you think that would be funny? You just had to see? Didn't I impress upon you how important it was to be like Stanley? He actually knows how to do what I tell him to. He understands that if I say to do something, there's a damn good reason for it. That thought hadn't even occurred to you, had it? That there's a world outside of you? You're a child. Oh, my story. If you'd just gone through the door on the left, you would have seen it. There was a whole underground facility. You would have destroyed it and been victorious. It would have been so perfect. I worked so hard on it. I tried so hard to make... When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
That is the part where it fucks with you. This game loves to fuck with
Stanley?
you.
Hello? Are you... Is everything okay? Stanley, please. I need you to make a choice. I need you to walk through the door. Are you listening to me? Can you hear me? Is everything all right? Stanley, this is important. The story needs you. It needs you to make a decision. It cannot exist without you. Do you understand me? Whatever choice you make is just fine. They're both correct. You cannot be wrong here. We can work together. I'll accept whatever you do. I simply need you to take that step forward, please. Choose. Do something. Anything. This is more important than you can ever know. I need this. The story needs it. So, you hear me? Are you there? Are you listening to this? Stanley, are you there? Okay. It's okay, I can wait. You need time to decide. time to make sure your choice is correct. That is the best choice. That's all right. I'll wait for you to decide what's the right thing to do. Take as much time as you need.
Eight. Well, we got the ending. Now it's time to go to heaven. So true. Anyway, thanks everybody for showing up. Make sure to check out the Discord down below. As usual, this will be going up on YouTube. It's really distracting. It's very distracting with this music. Thanks everybody for showing up. Make sure to check out the Discord down below. As usual, this will be going up on YouTube later at Flop Puck Vault. Make sure to come on down next time. And until next time, everybody, do the Mario.